Hey guys, this is Jesse J, Game Dev Vlog number 7. I'm going to keep the numbers going just because I'll be doing vlogs from everything that I'm working on, from Game Infinite to Oikose and continuing on with whatever we get accomplished with People 9. So I'm just going to condense my logs here. I know some of you are wondering maybe what happened to 6, as I said in my last post. 6 exists, but I'm not airing it because it had content on there. But this is 7. It's been a while since my last vlog. Since then, I have started with Team Oikose. We have been working on a game called Exile. At least it's called that now. It's going to be a 2D beat 'em up tactics game. That's all I can say right now. It's really cool, and we've been working hard on that. Right on that game, I am biz lead, and I am virtually just setting up the business side of everything. I'm keeping track of the business side, trying to make sure everything's going on track there. One of the things is we're really focusing on is agile development, and that's going to be agile business as well. So one of the things that's included was one of our things our teacher had us start up is going to be using active communities to help build up your audience. And this can be multi-team oriented, but ultimately the idea is to build a community with a set IP name that would be used for like news, gaming, and stuff like that. So we're going to use it to just talk about stuff, and that's partly what the new channel is going to be about. It's called Game Infinite. It's my idea. It's really big thing I'm really excited about. It's all about gaming news and tech news and stuff like that. So we took inspiration from things like IGN and Machinima. Shout outs to those guys, and they work really hard to bring us news very quickly and in a fun manner. And we're going to be doing things like reviews and let's plays and Twitch live streams. Anything that's is going to be all kinds of cool stuff. And we have a Facebook, a Twitter, and a YouTube right now, and a Twitch feed as well. And we're gonna be getting you a lot of content. And what the purpose of Game Infinite is to build up a gaming community that cares about what you have to say and likes you and knows that you're a reliable gaming passionate person and group, and use this community as a resource to launch indie games. So for example, if you're a group of 10 people, which is virtually what I was last semester in People 9, we were a small group. So the idea is when you are a startup company that no one's ever heard of in an industry that's very difficult to succeed in, the idea is to have a community that already knows you. That way when you actually finally get a game ready to launch and you launch it, they already know who you are and you actually have some reputation with them. Even though it's not reputation in building a game, it's actually a reputation in the gaming industry. So if I get, I don't know, 10,000 people to like Game Infinite and we return it into a reliable news source with lots of people caring about it, right now it's only at like 100, so I know that's far ahead, but let's say we are able to do that. You have that resource tool to say, hey, check out Exile, or check out Time Collapse, or check out whatever other game that we have. So it doesn't even have to be one indie team, and this community exists separate from it. And it's not endorsing one game. I mean, it's going to be talking about all kinds of gaming news, and the idea is to, when you're talking about Titanfall and you're talking about COD and you're talking about the big stuff and getting people interested, it's you're going to have that community that cares about your gaming news and is checking you every morning. You know, they have their list, you know, check IGN, check GameSpot, check Machinima, oh, check Game Infinite, you know, that type of thing. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be probably just as hard as building a game to turn this into a successful news idea. And we're going to have to work really hard to keep it updated. And my team is virtually actually not working on the Exile dev itself, which is actually almost kind of good because it's going to give us some objectivity, and it's also going to let us focus on rising this community. And this community can go beyond any game. It's going to be bigger to go beyond that. So the idea is to use Game Infinite, and there's actually a secondary community, not a secondary, a second community called Beat 'em Up Tactics. The reason we created 2 communities is one to be focused. One's going to be a little bit smaller, focused on the genre of beat 'em up games, and it's going to be smaller. It's going to be restricted to Exile and Oikose, to building that and building up that community to get metrics and feedback from people who prefer that type of genre that this game is. Game Infinite's much larger. It's bigger scope. It's big. It's meant to take on all gamers, and no matter what game idea whatever team we're on comes up with, this idea is going to follow me, and we're going to use it as a tool to promote our game. Because even the thing Kickstarter, that is probably one of the best tools out there for startups to launch a product. Kickstarter is not something that just anyone can do, because Kickstarter relies a lot on that reputation and having something that people know about. So, and I'm quite I'm under the impression and under the belief that if a news company, like, or just a channel or someone that people know about, like IGN or Machinima or GameSpot or any of those guys, that their entire focus is game news, if they were to turn their community and their pool of resources into promoting the game that someone on their team was building, that they would actually be very successful at it. Because you say, hey, I mean, I check these guys all the time. You already know who these people are. You see them on camera, and that's one of the things we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing vlogs, let's plays, reviews, all types of stuff about games that have nothing to do with about the game my classmates are building. And the cool thing about that is I think it's gonna work really well. And right now we're at 100 people, and I'd like to get that to grow exponentially, and it's gonna be really successful. And time collapse was put on hold a little bit just as we're trying to scramble around through second semester, but would like to do a little bit of work on it during the summer. It is not canceled; it's put on hold, and my team's pretty busy, but we're still working on it, and we've been doing a little bit of art there, and we still have it. And actually, we got a lot done for first semester noobs. I mean, I was actually pretty impressed with my team, and I'd like to give them a shout out there. And the team I'm working on now, Oikose, I would like to. I'm going to talk with them about how much we can post about here, because even though this is going to be partly for vlog updates for that, but it's also going to be partly for just our YouTube Game Infinite and stuff. So I'm not going to release any content like I was necessarily doing with time collapse, at least because we have a pipeline to get that information approved. But it's a bigger team. We're at 25 people. Time collapse was about 10. So it's a larger team, and we're still getting around that. It's a very different game, but I'm looking forward to seeing how that evolves. I'm not entirely embedded into the actual development side of it. I'm most focused on the business side. Right now I'm focusing on building that community, like I said before, to get us the power to launch a game, because my entire team on Oikose could build a great game and we can get it working, but we need to have that power to launch it. And same goes for People 9 and whoever else wants to use Game Infinite as a launching tool. And I've actually talked with another team that was very interested in the idea of this type of agile marketing strategy, which is really cool. So far we've done a lot. We will be able to be posting some of the Game Infinite art and leak that stuff to you, which is really cool. A lot of it's on our Facebook page already, which will be in the links and stuff below. There's promo art that we've been looking at for Game Infinite, all types of learning how to use different programs. I was getting into Illustrator. I've never used that before. I've used other programs like Photoshop and stuff. Illustrator is interesting. It was so trying to play around with that. Making some banners. Probably the biggest stumbling block to that is that Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube need to understand that they need to stop messing with their formats. I remember it was like sometime like last week, I was sitting there and we had spent like an hour designing this really cool thing, right? And then we found out that YouTube changed their banner size. I think it was YouTube, and it was just like, really? I hate it. I hate it when you spend like a really long time making like this really cool, awesome banner, and then all of a sudden, poof! It no longer fits. It's too small. It's the wrong proportions because they decided that they don't care. They just keep changing it. Yeah, it's cool though. We got a lot done. We've been researching into QR technology, which I know has been around for a little while, but it is interesting to play around with it. I've never really actively used it before. We got ourselves some QR codes that we found a way to make them relatively easy and apply them to business cards, which will be coming in next week, which I'm really excited about. And what we're going to be doing is using these passables to give out people and spread the information. And this is all about Game Infinite. And we would like to use that and get people to actually build up a healthy subscriber base on these pages and stuff. A cool thing is that another part of the agile marketing, this was proposed to our teachers, that applying more structure to our release. Now, as far as Game Infinite goes, because it is a news agency, essentially, it's a news program, a channel that's going to be linked between Facebook and YouTube. we created a schedule rotation that's going to launch information and special. I mean, granted, it's news, so there's always news when it's new. As soon as something gets launched at random times, even if it's 3 in the morning, like, hey, the Batman game came out, whatever. But ultimately, there's a lot of stuff that we can do. And when this week was a big one for us, and we were focused on Titanfall. It was a weird week because it was kind of a bifocus between Dark Souls 2 and Titanfall. We decided to focus a little bit more on Titanfall because it was the more popular game with a lot of hype, not cutting on Dark Souls. But it was just, I mean, it's new and it's crazy, and of course it's EA, so they're throwing money at their marketing team. So of course you see it everywhere. And I have to actually give them. Just to talk about Titanfall just for a quick moment, I have to give them some props to EA for finally launching a multiplayer-only game that isn't wrecked with server issues on launch. That's amazing. I mean, it's sad that that's amazing because EA shouldn't suck at that because they're a huge AAA company that launches a lot of multiplayer games. So if anyone should be able to get it right, it's them. But last year was just a disaster. Battlefield 4, SimCity, even their current one, Garden Warfare, that just launched, that also had server issues on day one. They're just not good at it. So the fact that Titanfall was able to do that is quite amazing. The problem I have that I have to give them crap about is that I was found, this was actually a topic of discussion on Game Infinite for a little bit, that the 360 delay was a big one. And some people were just griping about the PC large files. It's like grow up. That's what happens when you get big advanced games. It was stupid. But ultimately, the one that bothered me was the 360 delay. I'm not playing Titanfall because I do not want to spend $560 for a game, because that's how much it basically would cost people. Unless, granted, my PC can run Titanfall, but my PC's, get in the screen. My PC screen is this big. Yeah, about that big. And my TV screen is this big. I do not want to play Titanfall, this awesome high-res game, on a little screen. And my definition of little is 17 inches. So that's pretty big for a computer, but ultimately that still sucks compared to my 40-incher over here. Now, so that's strike number one. But my issue is what the implications this has on the gaming industry. I really don't like it because the 360 is the inferior product. It is 7+ years old. So the game is still $60. It's the inferior product, and it has a 2-week delay. Whatever happened to Microsoft's claim that they're going to be supporting the 360 for years to come? To me, having all those 3 things is not still supporting it. I mean, it's just stupid. I mean, I did not shell out for the Xbox One. I will not shell out for it for a very long time. And even if I did come up with enough, I mean, even if I didn't want to spend that type of money on a console, I'd go with PS4 because they didn't try to screw us all over when they launched a new console. Go Sony. Okay. But yeah, so that's the little rant about the Titanfall. If you are interested in talking about the controversy of these crazy delays, because there was no reason for it. I mean, there are 360 copies in Target. I know. I used to work there. I guarantee you the copies are ready to go. They launched in less than 2 weeks. They're not still making the game and putting power. No. The 360 version is fine. There was no purpose for a 2-week delay. As far as I know, they've never done anything like that before. So that was just, it was just a ploy to try to upsell the Xbox One, and I get that they need to push the next gen. I get that. But you do it another way. You don't screw over your past gen people like that. You make a really cool like next gen bonus. That's the proper way. If you are launching both games, the first bonus is that the next gen is still $60. So because the next gen costs the same as past gen, you are paying the same amount for the better product. So that's incentive number one. Incentive number two should be some like cool bonus, like the next gen version. The Xbox One only has this random Titan version, the Xbox One version. It's all green and shoots DRM guns at each other. You know what I mean? I mean, it shoots Microsoft screw yous at people. I mean, that's what it needs. That's what it needed to be, but not a 2-week delay. That's just dumb. It's telling people, if you want to play our new game, you have to wait 2 weeks. Screw you. It's like, no. So that was a really poor decision on Microsoft and EA and Respawn, the new company. That was just not cool. But I kind of feel a little bit bad for Respawn because I feel like they're a little bit under the thumb of EA and Microsoft a little bit too much, because I get the impression from my research that they didn't want to launch Xbox or Microsoft exclusive. They wanted to join up with Sony. When what startup wants to go exclusive? I mean, no. You want your name out there, you know. But ultimately, that if you're interested more in that discussion, check out the GI Facebook page and talk about it on there. I'd love to hear your feedback on that. Moving on, we've done a lot in the past 8 weeks. We're at the halfway point. Email just yelled at all of us past week. We were doing retrospectives. That was fun. We have a lot to keep going on the team. We have a lot to improve upon. It's definitely moving into semester 2. There's definitely a lot more expected of you, and there's a lot more to be done. And everyone's spread very thin. I'm really focusing hard on making my biz dev team successful. The success of GI is important because I think it's something bigger that can go beyond any one game. I mean, whether or not Exile goes to release, which I hope it does, and whether or not Time Collapse goes to release, which I hope it does, ultimately, I think GI has the potential to be a successful community that can be a useful tool no matter what indie dev team I'm on. Whatever indie dev team I'm going to be on, I'm going to hope to use this tool to help benefit that team. And the cool thing is that it's completely independent, so you don't have to worry about it being restricted by that. This team is no part of it is officially aligned with any indie dev team, so it can be used to promote any game, and that's the point. Ultimately these news programs are promotional tools, and a lot, whether you're getting paid for it or not, they're ultimately promoting games. I mean, we spent a week promoting Titanfall that we have nothing to do with, just the same as we'd have promote these indie games. And I think it's really cool. If you're interested in the schedule rotation, it's not a secret. It's public. It's going to be publicly posted. You can check out when we release stuff. We have theme days. It goes Wednesday to Tuesdays. I picked Wednesday to Tuesdays because typically speaking, most games launch on Tuesday. Not always. We have a few weird ones coming out on Friday, but ultimately, most of the time, games launch on Tuesday. So we did a Wednesday to Tuesday rotation. And Wednesday, what it's going to be is all the lighter side of like indie games, sales, Steam community sales. This basically the stuff that's going to save you money, and the stuff that may be a little bit less expensive, like indie games, and the stuff that are startups. It's going to be focusing on those types of things. And then it goes to Tuesday, which is often launch day. I'm sorry, why are we going backwards? Wednesday goes to Friday, which is big day. It's going to be AAA news. It's going to be Let's Plays, reviews. Since we just had, if a game just came out on Tuesday, it's going to be the aftermath of that. If there's big trailers talking about that, maybe trailer commentaries, all the big heavy stuff's going to be on Friday. And we figured it's Friday, it's the end of the week, and it's going to basically have stuff launched throughout the day. Wednesday, Friday, and then we come back to Monday. Monday is the third day of this rotation. Monday has 2 versions. When there's no release, it's gonna be all about classic and retro games and like simpler games, like mobile games, 2D side-scrolling games that aren't heavy in complexity. Big one that was just released, which is really cool. Let me check it out. I forget the name of it. I was playing it. Really cool. It has a really cool graphics for such a simple game. It's called Smash Hit. It's a mobile game, and that's going to be our next game of the week for that one. It's really cool. You basically fly through this really cool environment, and you toss little balls, little metal balls at stuff. It's hard to explain, but it's really cool. And that's our alternate Monday. But on Mondays that we have released, it's all going to be about the new release, and we're going to constantly be releasing information. And what's really cool about Mondays is that I'm hoping to do launch day events and go to launch events for these games that we're actually going to be interviewing people, and it's going to give us time to pass out some of the information and get that from people, and also pass out GI and get people's reactions and stuff like that. So it's going to be all launching up to main game, and then flips over to Tuesday, which on Tuesday launch days is all going to be covering that. So basically Monday and Tuesday is all coverage of major launches. And it's not going to, the schedule's going to adapt a little bit to the games that do launch on Friday. I know the next big one that's really coming out that we're really excited for is Elder Scrolls Online. Hopefully there won't be server issues. That's the biggest thing. It's like been number one concern on every time you have a multiplayer launch. So hopefully it's going to be workable, so we can do some let's plays and show it off a little bit, and also do some reviews. But we're definitely going to have a launch day event for that one. Hoping to, at least, and that's going to be really cool. I did create a Tumblr blog, so this is what this is going to be going into also as well. So my personal blog is going to be for all things game dev, and it's going to be categorized for different teams and stuff. GI is going to be predominant on a lot of things. So my Tumblr blog is going to be my game dev location. You can find everything related to all my game dev projects in there, and that's going to be, and you can find, and we're going to be interlink everything from Facebook and Twitter to the login to YouTube here. So we're going to keep it all intertwined. So hopefully to do some more vlogs coming up and get you guys some let's plays and some other cool videos. So I hope it was good to see you all again. Well, not to see you. Good for you to see me again, because I'm so handsome. Not really. It's late. I'm tired. Sorry. It was great to see you all again, kind of. And I'm glad to be doing vlog number 7. And we're gonna keep doing this up to get you updated, and hopefully release some Oikose content, and hopefully release some more time collapse content. But definitely check out Game Infinite. Like the page, subscribe and comment, and all that good stuff. So you guys have a great night and have a good one.